Good day, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever the case may be in your corner of the realm, welcome. We'll let a few more people file into the chat section. Have I got a show for you? In this presentation, we'll be taking a look at individuals who have overcome their fears of heights and speed, and in doing so, appear to have entered smooth sailing. As many of you know, I've been putting a lot of effort towards overcoming fears, both rational and irrational. One of my fears is being on camera and in front of microphones. I'm feeling a wave of anxiety or nervousness. It's temporary and it fades, but it's there. Just one of the things I hope to overcome. So as the countdown nears 0, we'll get into the show. There we go. Good day, good afternoon, and good evening, whatever the case may be, in your corner of the realm. Welcome. So if you'll recall the last live stream, we took a look at drone footage of old world structures. I was really impressed by that. We'll take a look at that, and we'll also take a look at people who climb incredibly tall structures, abandoned and new, for the joy, the thrill, the adrenaline. If you'd like to follow me on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/billmillerflip, and you'll come to this page, and I'm happy to announce I'm at 4 patrons now. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Patrons have access to exclusive content that only patrons get. And if you'd like to become a patron, you can do so for as little as $1. Also, you can check out billmillerflip.com, and that's my merchandise store. If you head over there, you'll find over 250 designs by yours truly. T-shirts, hoodies, women's leggings, backpacks, hats. And this is a way to help support the channel and help further the research and help fund the short films. And I thought it was a creative way to bring that to the community and further the research. Thank you for your support. And also, I'd like to announce that YouTube has authorized membership levels to my channel. If you click on the join button, you'll see the first level is the trolley car rider level. The second level is the ocean liner passenger level at $6 a month. And the top level is the airship captain level at $9 a month. Many individuals would receive very cool perks. This is also a way to help support the channel, the research, my short films, and the live streams. You know, I feel a little awkward asking for contributions and donations. But if you'd like to, you can get through me at PayPal, Venmo, or Buy Me a Coffee. Those links will be in the show notes at the bottom of the page. Or you can go to my YouTube homepage and you'll see these icons in the banner photograph. If you were to click on one of those, it would take you to a link where you can help make a donation or a contribution to help further the research and the short films. I really, really like this drone footage. Perhaps one day I'll get a drone. So as I mentioned, this live stream is regarding overcoming fears, both rational and irrational. It's something I've been putting a lot of effort and energy towards because at this very moment there's anxiety and nervousness when I go live. It's been like that my whole life. There's just being in front of groups or audiences. But I've also noticed that if I put some time and effort towards it, it gets better. And I mean, at this moment, I have a tightness in my chest and there's this feeling in the bottom of my stomach. But I tell you what, I was doing good. And I thought I would go live this morning because I have a really good show for you. And I thought, well, if I hit the live button pretty much first thing in the morning after I get up and take a shower and get my coffee, and I was doing good. And then as soon as I knew I was going to go live, I get that nervousness. But hopefully it's not too noticeable. Maybe I'm being too self-conscientious about it, but I'm certainly feeling it. But hope you're all doing good. Good day, good afternoon, and good evening, whatever the case may be in your corner of the realm. Welcome. Greetings. We're glad you're here. Thank you, Bob. Why is there something? Thank you, Bob. RWR is here. Good morning. Dino. Change nervousness to excitement. There we go. Thank you. I get an excitement. And it just takes a few minutes to bring it down a level. I can hear it in my voice. It's a little crackly, but breathe. So I've been deep diving into more and more research, and I've got a few short films in progress, and I hope to bring those to you soon. The ones that I'm currently putting thought and efforts towards are along the lines of my Dublin, Ireland Easter Rising short film. They're going to be on that level, I hope, anyway. But look for those. I'm also, this morning, I'm meeting somebody, another truther from Milwaukee. This will be a first. He follows my channel, Skip, if you're listening. I'll be ready to go here at the end of the live stream. He and I were chatting, and we're going to go do a little exploration and shoot some photographs of some old world structures here in Milwaukee. I thought that was pretty cool. I'm meeting the first individual here in Milwaukee that came across me through my research and short films and live streams, and I'm pretty excited about that. So if anybody else in the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area would like to reach out, you can reach me here at the Bill Miller Flip YouTube channel, usually in the comments section. I do my best. I put forth a good effort in returning the favor if somebody leaves a comment. It's much appreciated when people leave a comment. I've met so many amazing individuals and couples and groups that enjoy my research, and just wanted to share some kind words and support, and I thank you all. Yes, Dino, super cool to make a new friend and having an adventure as well. Yes, exactly. So, the last live stream, I was fiddling with some levels between my audio and the background music. If in the chat, if you could, I know it's going to be different wherever you're at, but the idea is that you get a hint of background music, not overwhelming. I think maybe I blasted a few people out with too much levels on the background music. So I went with some, oh, that's a nice shot right there. This guy's channel, he didn't say, I think this is in Canada. I wanted to make sure to quote everybody whose stuff I used. Look at that old world structure. How, it's just so sad to see it in a state of abandonment and disrepair. Thank you, Dino. Good day, Morning Glory. How are you? Good to see you again. But the drone footage you can get to places that perhaps a living soul hasn't seen in years or decades or even centuries. And how does it get to the situation where you're going to invest so much time and resources into building and creating a structure this magnificent, only to let it fall into disrepair and ruin? In my mind, something happened. There was some type of event. Oh, his drone hit the tree. Yep, that was the end of that one. Okay, this one here, we're getting into the good stuff here. This is from the YouTube channel Flavio Cernesco. They are in, I won't try to pronounce the name, but they're in Slovenia. Excuse me. And he and his wife or girlfriend, Dinah, they are trained, I guess, stunt people, and they have decided to trek to this city in Slovenia to climb the tallest tower in Europe. I think it was almost 400 feet. But there's something in my throat. One second, let me get a little parched here. Wow, it's always something. And I know Hippie Shake was, during the last live stream, she asked if we could see some more tall tower climbing, and it is indeed very, very fascinating and interesting. Touching on the irrational fear that, aside from the rational fears, the nervousness and the excitement, there is irrational fear, and I also have irrational fear. For example, when I'm watching videos like this where people are climbing to great heights, I sometimes have to look away. I get that nervousness, and I don't know why. I mean, okay. I'm in the safety of my house here in Milwaukee, and I'm not in any danger of falling from this tower. But I still have a difficulty in watching it, and I'm doing my best to overcome that. And these two, Flavio and Dina, they have this method, and I'll touch on it. When they get to the heights, watch what they do with their hands. As they're walking, they alternate their hands. They do this out in front of them. They do that out in front of them, and that helps them. I'm not sure exactly what it, I mean, I think it's a visual thing, but it's obviously something that they've trained for, and they do it quite well. I mean, I don't think you would find me climbing this tower, even though I'm fine with people climbing the tower. See, I get nervous just watching this. It's really scary. Holy crap. Yeah, that nervousness is back, and he's gonna walk on it. That's really tough for me. Watch his hands. Wow. And now they're gonna go all the way to the top. But look, there's a giant crack in the structure. I don't know the history of this tower, but it's an old red brick tower. It's almost 400 feet tall. Okay, I'm having trouble here. He stays conscious of his hands, I've noticed. Wow. That is... Okay, she's doing that thing with her hands. I think it helps you focus on not being... Well, first of all, you're 400 feet in the air and unreal. Valley Blue says her palms are sweating. It's not just me. Wow. Thank you. I'm wondering what that is. I mean, obviously we put ourselves in that position when it's maybe you can hear my cat Lucy in the background. She's are you scared of heights too? Yeah. Okay. In the case that we do get a cat sighting, I have kitty cam set up. They like to get up on the tabletop in front of the keyboard, but this is kitty cam. I can hear them squawking in the background, Roger and Lucy. Wouldn't you know, as soon as I get kitty cam set up, they make themselves shy. Okay, and this thing, this is called, the video is called, they jump off this steampunk wind turbine, and it is the guy that designed this thing. It's a wind turbine, and they said it took him years to build this thing. But is that a wind turbine? I suppose it could be, but he designed it himself, and he passed away, and it's fallen into disrepair. Here comes the base jumper. It only takes a few seconds to get to the ground, which is amazing. Steampunk wind turbine. And okay, I'm feeling a little better because we're getting into Chucky Wright. He's got a YouTube channel, Chucky Wright, WRGHT. He's a paramotor specialist, and it's the contraption that you strap to your back, and you've got the parasail, and you can control it. And I came across these, as I'm editing, I have this main computer that I do the editing on, and I'll show you. This computer here is the editing computer and live stream computer, but over here is the second computer, and I keep that keeps me company while I'm doing the editing, so I can watch YouTube videos while I'm editing, and spending so much time designing clothes and all of that. The second screen keeps me company, and I let it roll on stuff that I usually don't watch, or I'm looking for something new, and I found it. In the last live stream, Chucky Wright, he takes his... Usually he cruises around at this altitude, 300-400 feet. He's very He follows all the rules and regulations. He's a very by the book, organized, precise, and confident young man. And he'll take his paramotor out. He'll fly to the grocery store to get groceries. He'll fly to get food at the fast food place or whatever. And the episode that first got my attention is he took his paramotor up to 17,000 feet in the middle of the summer. And at 2 miles up, he is happy that he's fully dressed in layers and layers of winter clothing, because just 2 miles from the surface where it's hot and humid, it's freezing just 2 miles up. In this episode, he's going to fly through a quarry, which for those of us in the community, the truth community, the mud flood community, the melted building community, the great fires of the cities community, we have a new understanding and a new thought of what quarries really are. Sure, the control mechanism that's in place, sure, probably they do take out some minerals and stuff, but it's also theorized that these quarries were once structures like castles or monuments that have suffered an event and were damaged to the point of not being able to recognize them unless you get in there and closely examine them. Like, they've got these quarries cordoned off as best they can, because as you get in there, you'll start to see brick walls popping out, red bricks, almost as if it was a structure that has suffered some kind of X Factor event that melted them down. I mean, I'm seeing structure. I don't think that you're saying that there's red bricks buried under the surface and we're digging down and we just stumbled across these red brick walls. I personally think it's something else, and Jess Palmer asked, does he pee in a bottle or just hover or over? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen that, but I mean, you'd have to consider that, wouldn't you? But he gets down there and he just flies right in. I love it. Now, I don't feel that nervousness or that excitement or that anxiety watching Chucky ride on his paramotor, because I don't know, he just he has this confidence, or this, you know, you just get the sense that he knows what he's doing. You might find me on something like this. I'm not in the market for one, but it seems very like a stable platform. I mean, it just seems very... He's taking selfies. He usually has his cell phone on a chain. I'm not sure why he isn't. I mean, you would be really, really bummed if you dropped your phone from there. But, yep. And I know that the selfie stick is on a chain in case you dropped it. I mean, you could start hurting people if you drop that. Okay, these guys are in Poland, and they are jumping. First of all, it's the YouTube channel Truly, Truly, and they are jumping. They infiltrate this building dressed as priests, so that they can access the upper levels to jump from the top. And this is in Warsaw, Poland, and the building is Warsaw's Palace of Culture. It's an amazing structure. We don't get to see a lot of it in the video, but it is an old world structure. So here's where they're climbing out. They're climbing the steel gates and up and over. And at this point, nobody can stop them, right? They are ready to go. There's 4 of them. They got their cameras, and they're good to go at this point. But it only takes, let's count, 1, 2. The chute deploys after almost instantly. And then as soon as they hit the ground, they got the car ready. They strategically parked the car so they could bolt as soon as they hit the ground, because there's that structure. Wow. If you're ever researching any old world structures in Poland, the Warsaw Palace of Culture is an amazing old world building. Oh, and now we get into one of my favorites, Josh Newman. What an incredible young man he was. And unfortunately, I speak of Josh in the past tense, as Josh was killed in a small airplane crash in Iceland last year, I believe. Very sad. An amazing young man. His love of... Let me move myself out of the picture there. His love of skateboarding and filmmaking, he combined the two. He started out as a skateboarder, downhiller, and he's got such good technique. And I believe this is in the Swiss Alps, French Alps, sorry. And he was able to follow his dreams and his passions, and he traveled the world doing downhill skateboarding and skydiving and base jumping. And he still has his YouTube channel is up. It's Josh Newman, Neuman. He's got a number of short films that are really, really nice. And this is a raw run, very little editing. And the camera is mounted on the front of a chase vehicle. And when he's doing this, he tells the driver, he's like, I want you as close as you can behind me. It's for the shot. Just get as close as you can. And they can also find out how fast he's going. And I'm going to guess right here, he is at 71 miles an hour. But he is able to slow himself down by sliding the board, kicking out the tail and sliding sideways without putting his hand down or taking his feet off. He does wear gloves that in the palms of them, there's these circular discs. You can see those white circles, and those circles are a thick hard plastic or a ceramic. I'm not even sure what the texture is, but you can use those to stabilize yourself, and by kicking out the tail and sliding sideways, you can check your speed. You can bring it down to a stop if you need to, but these are hairpin turns going from 70 down to 10, 20 without jumping off or without putting your hand down. Really, really incredible. He's got such good technique. And as many of you know, I did do some skateboarding earlier in my life, and I did do some longboarding, some downhill. It's more of a longboard. I still have it. It's over there. I should get it out. But and later on in this presentation, I'll take you back to the 80s when I used to do some vertical skateboard riding, and you'll see my friends and I skateboarding a indoor skateboard park in Omaha, Nebraska back in 1988 or 89, I believe. That's coming up later in the show. It should be, maybe it's right after this, I think. But I'm really impressed with this kid, Josh Newman. He knew what he wanted to do, and he chased it. He didn't let he did experience fears, and he was able to overcome them. 70 miles an hour on a skateboard, and back when I did it, I was wearing all sorts of pads, head to toe. But Josh just runs the helmet and gloves. Many times he's not wearing a helmet, and I always thought that you would want to knee slide, because that's how I learned to fall when I was skateboarding the ramps, was to knee slide. But this generation of downhill skateboarders has a maneuver where you just go, all you need is jeans. Your jeans may get ripped up, but you might get a little bit of a scrape, but nothing too bad. I guess it's more of a streamlined feel. It's all about feeling comfortable and confident. And his YouTube channel has 1.2 million subscribers, and he was able to earn sponsorships. I think he's wearing one on his back. I think that's a Powell Peralta shirt, which is a skateboarding manufacturer, still creating and making boards. But following his passions and overcoming fears, he was able to follow his dreams. And unfortunately, Josh did pass away in a small plane crash, but much love and respect for Josh Newman. He was an incredible kid. Let me pop over to the chat real quick. I see Boston Ray Mudflood Adventures here. Grand Risings, Ray. Motzi 11A, he thought that was 50 miles an hour. It could be, but he has been clocked at 70 miles an hour on many occasions, if not more. Yeah, it is good speed. UFO Buff 417, hello, welcome. Are you new to the channel? I don't recognize your name, but if so, welcome. Greetings. We're glad you're here. Bear Christ, vroom vroom, Wyodino, cool building for sure. Yeah. So thank you all for being here. We're at 16 people here. I went with the early morning show for a couple of reasons. One was I thought I would go live before that wave of excitement or energy or nervousness washed over me, but I think that's just something that I'm going to have to overcome, is that fear of going live and being on the camera and on the microphone. I feel better right now. There is a little bit of nervousness, but I think just accepting that my voice changes, and it just something for me to realize and put energy towards. Also, I wanted to get up early because in a little while I am meeting my first truther in Milwaukee. They're stopping by here I think we're gonna go explore a tunnel down here on the east side of Milwaukee, close to my house. I wanted to go in there on a previous occasion, but I was solo, and I was like, this is a little scary, but it looks like a subway tunnel. I mean, I'm sure water does drain out of there, but it has this really old world feel to it. And I know Milwaukee has an elaborate tunnel system beneath the surface, and who knows how far it extends. I'm pretty close to downtown Milwaukee here. And Skip, if you're watching, I'll see you shortly. And it's going to be awesome. If there are any other individuals in the Milwaukee area that want to reach out, you can get a hold of me here on YouTube. Leave me a comment, or you can send me an email at billmillerflip@yahoo.com, and we'll do some old world investigating, some mud flood investigating, some melted building research, and we'll see if we can see any signs of the Great Milwaukee Fire of the late 1800s, I believe it was, or early 1900s. A lot of questions. Milwaukee is an old world treasure. I mean, the architecture and the individuals who harken back to a bygone era. We even have a street in downtown called Old World 3rd Street, and I'd like to put forward a presentation on that one of these days with my photography. Now, this turn here is just crazy. Wow, Josh. Constantly have to be aware of vehicles coming up the mountain, but he's not afraid of them. So as Josh winds down his run here, I'm going to let you know that I believe what's coming up next is a personal video of mine from there we go, Shredder Skate Park, Omaha, Nebraska, 1988. Some friends and I, we would drive up there from Lincoln. It was a park, and we were really into skateboarding. There's my buddy Jay. Rest in peace, Jay. We all miss you. Wish you were here, brother. We love this place. And there's John Rocky Newt, as I called him. There's yours truly in the black helmet, red shirt, axle stall, frontside grind, another frontside grind. Who do we have up next? Mike Renfro, Tower Inferno, frontside grind, frontside 50-50, gnarly. Back into a backside air, nice. Look like a Kevin Wilkins, Kevin Damo. He's says slide, another slide maneuver. That surface of that ramp was so smooth that here's Rich Flowerday, Iron Man. Rich had a skateboard ramp in his backyard, and that's where I learned how to ride There I am doing an invert, kind of low, but he had a skateboard ramp in his backyard about a mile from my house, and I had learned to skateboard up and down my sidewalk back in the 70s. I'm kind of old, but not really. And then I always saw these guys. Rich's ramp used to be out front. It used to be a quarter pipe, and my family and I Dad would be driving us home, and I'd say, go up Eastridge Drive, and I would see these guys riding this ramp when I was a young kid, and I was like, oh my God, look at that. I was so amazed, and I made my way over there one day. I kind of overcome that fear, that anxiety, that nervousness, and it worked out. Met a lot of amazing people, good friends, still to this day. Kevin is still skateboarding, and I think Rich here, I think he saw some clips of him skateboarding recently. I haven't been on the board in a while, but I would like to find somewhere like a bowl where I can carve. If I could carve somewhere and keep speed, maybe like a pump track or a figure eight where it's just keeping, not doing tricks, just keeping speed, carving. Here's a frontside grind. Yeah. Backside air, frontside air, backside air, another little backside air, little tiny invert, lean air, frontside ollie bail. Renfro, Jay, Jay was a master. He master contortionist. He could contort his body on the skateboard ramp in ways that nobody else. Yeah, and direct, frontside grind. How are the levels there in the... I'm hoping there's a little bit of music coming through. Not a lot. I mean, trying to get better at the levels. Just want like kind of an ambient background, but not overpowering. I took the advice and the constructive criticism from people in the chat that said the music was a little hot, a little too overpowering my voice. So I'm being conscientious of that, but I still would like a little something in the background, That sounds all right. That sounds good. Let me know if the music is too much. Palmo, all Palmo, Centropia's here. Portugal is in the house. Much love. Salutes. I don't claim to speak Portuguese. Yo hablo español un poquito, pero cuando yo hablando en español, mis palabras son... You get the idea. I did study Spanish for several years in college, and I did live in Mexico for one summer back in '93. Jay's dropping into a backside air, carving a backside air into an andirect, and up the other wall for an axle stall to gain speed, and he's up and over the backside air with the channel. Into a 50-50, that's a nice line. Into a... Ooh, did you see that contorted andirect? Yeah. John Rocky here. I've got a lot of these guys a couple of these guys, well, 3 of them are in Lincoln, Nebraska. That's where I grew up, and that's where I met them. That's where I learned to skateboard. John Rocky and Mike Renfro and Kevin Wilkins are in Lincoln, and they do travel up to Omaha. There's a place called Donut Hill Skateboard Park. There's some stuff in Lincoln too. But these guys are shining examples that at 55 years old, you can still rip on the skateboard. This video is when we were much younger men, but it's I mean, it is in a way kind of like riding a bike. You know, if you know, it'll take a little while to get back into it, but like I mentioned, I'd like to find a carve bowl. I'm not sure how many tricks I could do nowadays, but I'm pretty sure if there was a place where I could keep speed carving, I would be all over it. And Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I'm at now, was internationally known for their skateboard park, the Surf and Turf, the Turf for short, where it was an indoor concrete skateboard park harkening back to the 1970s. And it has a long, illustrious history. People would go on pilgrimages just to travel to Milwaukee to skate the Surf and Turf. It did meet with the bulldozer years back, but there are plans in the works, and it's been authorized to rebuild the Surf and Turf down on the south side of Milwaukee. Things slowed down over the past couple of years because of the events on the world stage, but hopefully the Surf and Turf is the progress towards its rebuilding and its rebirth are in progress, and maybe I will find that carve bowl, because it was an old school skateboard park, like, you know, back in the 70s when it was concrete. It's like an empty swimming pool type place. All those got bulldozed, but somehow Milwaukee was able to save theirs for as long as they could. But eventually a off-ramp to the interstate took her out, which sucked. But hopefully we'll get her back. In the meantime, there is a couple of skateboard parks here called Cream City Skateboard Park, and then there's Four Seasons. Those are both indoor masonite skateboard parks. I have skated one, and maybe there is a bowl at Four Seasons that maybe I would be able to carve that, just keep speed. But I know the one at Cream City, at least it was when I was there years ago, that seems like it might have some carved lines in it. It's just a matter of putting in the time and getting my legs under me again. Thank you, Valley Blue 2. Enjoy the rest of your day, Nebraskan. And there she goes. She transferred from the moving car, and she's climbing up, and this probably could be Nebraska where they're at, because Lillian Boyer is a Nebraskan, and she also did not believe in safety cables, and she even had a mouthpiece where she would insert the mouthpiece and clamp down on it with her teeth, and she would hang from a cable from the plane using only her teeth to support her without a safety cable, which is like how. And I thought I had it bad trying to overcome fear of getting nervous in front of a camera and a microphone. Let's put that into perspective, Bill. Here's fellow Nebraskan Lillian Boyer wing walking, plane transfers, hanging from her teeth. And I'm scared of being in front of the camera and the microphone? Come on. But much respect to Lillian Boyer and her time as a wing walker. And they also used to do ooh, boy, that hit her pretty hard there. barnstorming, where the pilot would fly the plane through open doors in the barn and would navigate small spaces and fly through them. And in some cases, just to get a crowd, turn a little income, for an old airplane that was, they would crash them into barns and all sorts of crazy stuff. Excuse me, I still got something in my throat. All right. Thank you, Lillian Boyer. Now we move into the airships. I've been really into the airships lately, which was also a major industry, 100 years ago. Airships date back, we have depictions from the 1600s, the 1700s of balloon flight. And these dirigibles, from 100 years ago were modern wonders. They were technological magnificent pieces. With the structure and the organization needed to build these things and to manage them and house them. The industry was massive, and it was elaborate. So what they would do when it was time to come in, they would drop this cable, and then they would take that cable and attach it to a ratchet, and they would reel it in. Like you're on a fishing line with a fish on the end. You just reel it in, and that's how the dirigibles came in. That's how they even did it on the buildings, at the tops of buildings back in the 1920s. In order to make it easier for the pilot, they drop the cable when they do the flyover, and the people on deck on the platform on the building grab the cable, put it into the ratchet, and reel it in. It's like they're catching an airship. So they reel it in, and the piece on the top, it pivots so that, with the wind, the dirigible always has its nose facing the ratchet, and it can free flow and just kind of let the wind take it. It's not going anywhere. It just these things are really fascinating. And back in the day, I always thought the entire thing was filled with helium, but it's not. It's there's tanks inside of that, and people can move about inside what I thought was the balloon, but it's not. It's just there's tanks inside. But there is sleeping quarters inside, and it's like going sailing. You would, days or weeks. And they even have small biplanes that they had. You could reel those inside the body, and then you could open up the hatch bay and drop down the plane, and the plane's still attached, and the plane gets the motor revving and disconnects and flies away, but then it can come back and get caught on the hook, and the hook brings in the plane and brings it back up into the body of the airship. And these were aircraft carriers as well. I hope I got some of that footage, because it really is amazing watching a small biplane being dropped from these massive airships. Like that shot there, that's not all helium inside there. But look at the size of these things. I think this was, I think the history of the airship goes further back than we're being taught. Ships. So they had to get rid of the airships. And this is from a famous movie. So this portion here is acting. I think that's Jimmy Cagney. But they were making movies about these things. They were so incredible. I I would just go down there just to look at it, you know, like, I mean, I remember as a kid, back in Lincoln, Nebraska, there was out at the Lincoln Airport, there was a hangar for the Goodyear blimp, and I did get to go see that a couple of times and saw it in the night sky on more than one occasion and couldn't figure out what it was until I realized that it was the Goodyear blimp with a lighting array on the bottom of it. Morgan's here. Isabella Live 2.0. Hey, Morgan, how you doing? Oh, he's got some video for... Oh, excellent. Yeah, dude, I'd love to see it. I do have in my... maybe I could incorporate it into my airships short film that I have in mind. I'm currently collecting photographs and films of airships. I do have a short film in mind. You know, aside from the live streams, I'm a filmmaker. I make short films, and I'm sure many of you have seen them on my channel, where it's a tribute to the old world, and it incorporates research and filmmaking and soundtrack and narration, and similar to my Dublin, Ireland, Easter Rising short film. But yeah, Morgan, I would love to take care of that. Who else do we got here? Let me look over here at this screen. Infinite Jack is here, or he was. Yes, Infinite Jack. Thank you for reminding me. There is currently a multi-billion-dollar industry of creating modern-day airships. I mean, and as Infinite Jack has mentioned, Trustin, California has 2 large airship hangars that are empty. But if you were to do a search engine look into modern airships, you would see that they are still currently creating these things. There's still a multi-billion-dollar industry that builds airships. And it's like, where are they? I'm sure you would have to get tuned into that community, and you'd probably become more aware of where they are. But where are these airships going? What are they doing? You know, I mean, I know we're familiar with who the largest purchaser of helium is, and that's NASA. We know that they use a lot of helium for their balloons and their Satelloon project. Thank you, Morgan. I much appreciate it. Thank you, brother. Appreciate the super chat. Morgan has made a super chat, which is active down at the bottom of the chat section. You'll see next to the emotes icon, you'll see a $sign, and if anybody is feeling so generous to make a contribution or a donation to the channel and the research, the super chat is an option. I'll go over a few more options a little later, but thank you. Thank you, Morgan. I appreciate that super chat, brother. Getting back to the airships, why are they sending up so much heavy equipment? I mean, these modern day balloons, these modern day can carry up to 8,000 pounds. I mean, that's 4 tons. And perhaps in a future live stream, I'll show how they launch these satellites, these Satelloons, as they are fondly named. They have incredible lift potential. You know, and I have theorized, and it's just a theory, but back in the day, I theorized that airships were used to build skyscrapers and tall structures, as you could carry building supplies on board the airship, and dock with the top and drop off some heavy building materials. You know, this is purely speculation. I haven't seen any photographic evidence of that, but and perhaps cranes is all they needed, but certainly seems plausible that an airship could be used to drop off supplies. I know in the modern day they use the heavy lift helicopters, and they'll drop off like an air conditioning unit on a skyscraper and generators. They'll drop those off, and I feel like it's possible that it could have been done in the old world to use airships to deliver building supplies to the tops of large buildings. But these modern day airships, where are they going? I've seen some theorizing and some speculation that there's communities of airships that are airborne all the time. They don't need to come down. There's perhaps cities in the sky at an altitude that's not visible to us, or it's in a remote location, and perhaps there are airship cities in the sky right now that most of us are not aware of. And perhaps they can get supplies delivered from time to time. And I know that this industry is massive, and you've got some of the brightest minds in the world working on these airships. We see them in the modern day, and I don't think it's beyond. I think it's on the table for discussion that there are airships that can stay aloft for days, weeks, months, and perhaps even years, if need be. You know, with free energy devices or renewable energy devices, all sorts of things. Perhaps there's technology that we don't see in our everyday life, but is being implemented in certain influential, and once it's on the hook, it can be reeled inside the body of the airship, and it can be housed there and worked on until it's needed, and then it can be dropped down while it's still on the hook, because the engine on the airplane has to be running so that it can keep the speed, and it's on the hook and the engine's up to full speed, and then it disconnects from the plane or the airship and is able to fly away. Let me pop over to the chat. Infinite Jack asks, I wonder if they took the airships to further distant lands hidden from us where there are also old world structures undemolished. Yeah, I mean, it's on the table for discussion. It seems plausible to me. I mean, with money and resources and technology and building facilities and construction plants, yeah, you could build this and just fly off to the island or fly off to the unknown lands. The unknown lands to us, that is, but yeah, makes sense to me, Jack. Glyph is here. How you doing, Glyph? So I'm wanted to thank everybody for joining me today. I'm getting better at these live streams, I hope. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the live stream, I always get this wave of anxiety when it's time to go live. It's just something that I've had my entire life. Like when I knew I would have to speak in front of a crowd, there's this nervousness that I would get. So it's just something I'm working through, but it gets better throughout the show. I'm not feeling it so much now at this moment. But thank you, Infinite Jack. Much appreciated. And so this is the airship Macon, I believe. So these massive airships were these works of art, these modern marvels, but it seems like it's not coincidental that they all started to meet with untimely ends towards the beginning of the aeroplane era. I think that they just had to get rid of these airships because they offered too much competition and to airplanes, and airplanes had formed contracts behind the scenes to start providing long-distance passenger transportation, and because these airships, aside from military uses, they were also passenger airships, luxury airships. It was how beautiful and magnificent it must have been to sail the skies and look out the observation window one night out over the Pacific or the Atlantic, quietly sailing through the skies. That must have been an amazing, amazing experience. So they had to come up with something that would scare the crap out of people and scare the crap out of investors. And that was fiery crashes to these airships. And we're all familiar with those. And so this one is coming in for docking, and it just dropped the cable. And the cable is gathered by the ground crew and put into a ratchet device, and the airship is slowly reeled in like a big fish, basically. The coordination and the structure and the organization of not only the airship crew but the ground crew, a large industry, these airships. I wish they were still around for public transport. I think that'd be fun. Like if one day they just started showing up at all the airports and you had your choice. You could get on an airplane or you could get on an airship. It's not too far from being a reality, I don't think, other than decisions by people. These were tried and true, tested and safe. It was only when they started tampering with them and causing accidents that the public opinion began to sway away from the public support. Thank you, Jody R. I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here. Welcome. Greetings. So as I get better and more confident at these live streams, I'd like to do them. I could see doing them weekly. I don't know if I'm quite ready to commit to a weekly schedule, but perhaps soon I could be confident enough to commit to a weekly schedule. I think it would help you as the viewer to become, let's say I just decided to do Friday mornings at 7 or 8, that kind of thing. That's just an example, but, if people knew I was going to go live at a certain time on a certain day every week, that, we can get some more people in here. Oh, we're up to 21 people. More people are joining in the watching and in the chat. Thank you all for being here. Much appreciated. There's, let's see, what do we got left in the show? We got about an hour. As I mentioned, after this live stream, I am meeting a fellow Milwaukee truther who goes by the name Skip on his YouTube channel. We're going to go do some old world investigation, maybe a tunnel here on the near my house on the east side. Skip, if you're watching, I'm just going to wind down the live stream after I run a few more clips, and I'll be ready to go. I'll see you around 10, maybe a little before. But Skip reached out. We've been conversing via comments and text message, and it'll be good to finally meet somebody here in Milwaukee and start building a community here in Milwaukee. I mean, I enjoy meeting people through YouTube and emails and online and live streams. It's been amazing. But meeting people in person is really cool. I mean, I think it's a good way to meet members in your community and meet them in person and begin to grow the personal community, the getting together for meetups and concerts or fundraisers or whatever the case may be. It'd be nice to have a community here in Milwaukee where everybody can meet up. So anybody in Milwaukee listening, or maybe even as far down, Chicago is an hour south of here. It's an hour drive to get up here to Milwaukee. Got some viewers down in Chicago. We are also on the Lake Michigan shore, the western shore of Lake Michigan. Chicago's down. They are on the western side of Lake Michigan. They do start to curve around to the southern tip of Lake Michigan. But anybody in Milwaukee, feel free to reach out to me. You can get a hold of me through the comment sections here on the on the YouTube videos, or you can send me an email at billmillerflip@yahoo.com. That's my primary email address. My secondary email address is billmillerflip@gmail.com. I need to do a better job of checking the Gmail, but I've done it every day for the last week because I missed a couple of important emails a while back. I missed an email from John Levi when my Dublin, Ireland Easter Rising short film came out. He reached out, and I also missed a email from Dustin, the Berserker Bear over at the YouTube channel Bushwhacking History of Buffalo. But he and I have since chatted, and I think maybe we're going to set up something for either a phone conversation or a live stream or just comparing notes. But Dustin, let's link up soon, and maybe we can put something together. Looking forward to it. Thank you. But here is footage of them reeling in the airship. So they drop the cable and they run it down in there, and then they just reel in. Look at that big ratchet thing. It's like you reel in a fish. And That's some engineering right there. They're just, see how they're ratcheting it back and forth? That's how you catch an airship. Which makes sense, because for a while I was thinking that you would have to fly the airship and you'd have to point it into something and catch yourself on something, but no, they made it much easier. They dropped the cable from the airship and the ground crew reels you in, simple. And the tanks, I think there was several tanks on board the airships, but inside there was galleys and sleeping compartments and storage compartments and engine compartments. And these housing places were just enormous. So they did spend quite a bit of money and invest a lot of time and resources into these old world airships. And I do have, at my merchandise store is billmillerflip.com, and you will see a listing of shirts that I've made, and the listing is called Airships. I've got some really incredible photographs that I've put on shirts and hoodies and backpacks. But also, besides the photographs, I have depictions, paintings from the 1700s and the 1800s of airships very advanced, very intricate airships from the 1700s and the 1800s. I mean, so balloon flight has been around for centuries. I think there's even some as far as back as the 1600s. I mean, if you follow the mainstream narrative, that is. I mean, we could theorize and speculate that the airship has been around for centuries and centuries and centuries, due to we know that the old world was highly advanced and highly technological, and they were very organized, and they knew how things worked and how to incorporate that into technology. I mean, it's on the table for discussion that airships have been around for several centuries. The evidence to that goes back as far as 3 centuries, I think, back to the 1600s or 1700s. But those are just depictions. Those could have been fake. But, I mean, there is evidence to suggest that airships are, even in our timeline, are centuries old. Now, if we're discussing reset timelines, we could discuss airships being many, many, many centuries old in the old world. It just depends on which time frame that you're looking at it. I mean, it looks like they're in the crew cab of a ocean liner. I mean, they fly similar, smooth. I mean, I've heard it said that it's one of the smoothest rides, because you're just basically on a balloon that can fight through the air. They're so big that the air does have some effect on them, but you're not going to be bouncing around. But this footage here is when the last airship was reportedly lost at sea. That's how the story goes. Everybody survived, but the airship disappeared. It hit the water, and they weren't able to recover it, but they were able to recover the people. That's how some of these airships met their ends, was what we might consider planned events, where they knew they were going to take it out, but they were going to twist the story and spin it a different way, so that people started to have less confidence in airships. Hello, Hippie Shake. Good to see you. Good afternoon to you over there in Wales. And these airships, the passenger ones that we're familiar with, they would make transatlantic flights. You know, it would take them several days to fly from the East Coast of the Americas over to Europe. And here is an airplane that's being retracted inside the compartment of the airship. The airplane connected with the hook, and they reeled it up inside the storage compartment on the airship. And they were also able to work on the planes inside the airship and then retract them back down. And then when the plane was up to speed, it's on the hook right now, but as soon as the engine was up to speed and the pilot was ready, the pilot would release the hook and the plane would fly away. I mean, old airships were aircraft carriers. This footage is amazing. And I wanted to share that with you. I just thought this was, there it goes, and it flies off. So the plane can go fly around and do its thing, and then when it's ready to come back to the ship, the hook is dangled down from the airship, and the plane flies up and navigates and hooks with the two hooks get hooked, and once it's hooked, the airplane is cranked up inside the storage compartment on the airship, and the door closes behind it, and it's fully inside. I mean, amazing. I mean, 100 years ago they were doing this. It's and then there were walkways. There's like planks that you would walk inside. That's actually inside what before I used to think that that's where all the helium was, but you can see to the left side there's tanks inside there, and there's different I don't have I'm sure it varied from vessel to vessel, but the tanks were strategically located where you could bring the nose down, you could bring the nose up, and so highly advanced, and it's sad that they had to get rid of them. But we know that in the modern day they are creating airships, because there is a multi-billion-dollar industry that creates airships today. And we were speculating that perhaps these airships are used to travel the elite to lands beyond, or the unknown lands. And this footage, that was the airship footage, and now we're gonna get into this is in the Swiss Alps, and there is a bunker inside of a mountain. It's what they call a bunker, and this is from a channel called Red Media. He's on YouTube, and this is a mountain in Switzerland that reportedly, whenever we see structures inside of what are called mountains, a red flag starts to go up for me. And many people start to question it because, especially people in the melted building community, which they make a lot of good points, and I follow the evidence, and I go where the evidence takes me. Is this an old structure that survived an event, or is this actually, like a World War II era bunker that had to be dug out of a mountain? I thought the placement of it was kind of unusual. I mean, if it was a bunker, it's at the top of the mountain. I would think maybe you would want it at the bottom somewhere, but maybe that's just me. Even in the World War II era, that is a lot of resources and a lot of, that's a lot of blasting just to create a bunker for I mean, who are they going to put in there? Who's going to go up to the top of the mountain during an air raid? Or, I mean, why do you need this in Switzerland? Just something to consider. I mean, let's say they could build this during the World War II era and they were blasting holes and for people to live in during some sort of an attack, but I don't think you would want to live in this space for very long. I mean, doesn't seem like that. So if you're just talking about like say an air raid, it's on the top of the mountain. Who lives on the top of the mountain, or who can get to the top of the mountain when the air raid sirens go off? Do you really have that much time that you can drive from town, drive up the mountain to get into the bunker? I mean, by the time you're there, the planes have gone, or the bombs are gone. Just the story just seems a little fishy to me. That you have this bunker at the top of a mountain in Switzerland, and who is that going to protect? The villagers in the area, and they, during World War II, they really had the time and resources to start blasting holes at the top of the mountain. I mean, and why would the top of the Swiss Alps be in danger? Why are they going to bomb the countryside? I'm not sure I follow. And how many people could this thing... I mean, I'm sure you could get, hundreds and hundreds of people in there, but are they really going to be able to make it to the top of the mountain in time? Yeah, Hippie Shake, I just wanted to say his channel name. I'm not sure how many Red Medias there are. He's an urban explorer channel. I think Hippie Shake was going to link his channel. It's just called Red Media. But thank you for trying, Hippie Shake. It's he bills himself as an urban explorer. Hippie, you missed the. I took your request from last time, and I put in the tower climbing at the beginning of the show. This couple, Flaviu and Dinah, climbed the tallest tower in Europe in where was that? Romania? No, Slovenia. Earlier in the show, I was talking about overcoming irrational fears and overcoming fears, as that's part of my life right now. I'm becoming more comfortable at being in front of the camera and on the microphone. So I've been exploring how to overcome. I started with irrational fears and watching people climb to amazing heights. And, I had to tell myself, I am not in danger of falling off that tower that I'm watching in the video. The people in the video are at risk, but due to the fact that it's on YouTube, there's a pretty good chance that they survived the experience. I'm not going to watch videos where there's accidents and disasters. That doesn't appeal to me. But so I began with watching people climb to great heights as a way of dealing with my irrational fears. So I've gotten better at that. But I also get this wave of anxiety when I know that it's time to go live. When I'm in the minutes leading up to I'm going live, I start to get that feeling in my stomach, and I start to get that tightness in my chest, and I start to get that crackling in my voice. My voice changes, and I do some quick deep breathing exercises, but I think that's just going to come with the territory if I'm going to do live streams, is that in the beginning I'm going to sound a little different. I'm going to feel a little different until I become comfortable. I feel comfortable now. That's, I'm speaking to people all across the face of the earth. Hippie Shake is in Wales. Palmo Syntropia, he's in Portugal. I'm not sure. Let's see, what time is it in Australia? I think it's around midnight. I think Friday's coming to a close in Australia right now. I don't know if Michael Joshua Lewis is watching or if Ozbeast is watching, but Isabella Live 2.0 asks, are you guys getting my pastes, my links? Huh. Let me see. Let me check that out, Morgan. Hippie Shay. Morgan, I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything, Morgan. Sometimes it's a little hard to catch everything during a live stream, Morgan, but if I'm not seeing any, if you're leaving him in the chat section, I am not seeing that. But I know if you would leave him in a comment, maybe at the bottom of the page, like during the comment section, not in the chat section, I'd be able to get the information that way from you. But as far as the chat section, unfortunately, I'm not seeing that. But I'll be sure to either send me an email or put it in the comment section below the video, and we'll address it there. I'm some of the more technical stuff with the chat section, Morgan, I'm still feeling my way out, feeling my way through that experience. If I can figure out how to have a guest on the live stream using OBS, I'd love to have people on the show with me, you know. And I know when I was doing live streams with Ray over on the Michelle L channel and the Boston Ray Mud Flood Adventures channel, we were, you know, when we had 2 or 3 of us on the show, one person could watch the chat, and another could do this, and another could do that, which was helpful. I watch Ray and I watch Singe Man. They're doing it a couple times a week at least now. You know, I just like that. I haven't figured out. I know they're using StreamYards, but I haven't figured out how to have a guest on here in OBS. But I will figure that out. So I'd love to have Ray on. I'd love to have Singe Man. I'd love to have anybody else on the show that would like to come on the show. I think that would be great. Morgan says, I will type the title and you can type it into the box at the top. Okay. Another thing to consider, Morgan, is that the video portion of this that is pre-recorded, I found that that's easier for my live streams. Is that I gather all the things that I want to for the live stream. I gather the videos and I load them into my editing software, and I arrange them and I cut certain portions out and I edit them, and then I go from the editing software and turn that into a computer file. And once that's finished uploading, then I load that into my streaming software. So right now, what you're seeing is a video file. I've already done. I found it's a little bit easier to do it that way because I have less things that I have to worry about. Because I know the video is just playing behind me as I'm talking, but because I did try to do it with all open tabs one time, where I just had open tabs along the top of my browser, and I would open those as I needed them on the show. But it kind of taxed. Well, I shouldn't say that. There were some settings that I didn't quite have set right as far as the audio, but I see what you're trying to say there, Morgan, and yeah, if I could just open up a browser tab, I could play it. That might be one way to do it. But I appreciate your patience, Morgan. I do appreciate it. Thank you. So I'm in a little while after the live stream, I'm meeting my first truther in Milwaukee. Fellow truther here in Milwaukee. We're meeting in person. We're going to go do a little old world research, kind of like this video here right now. There's a tunnel. Milwaukee has an elaborate tunnel system underneath it. And there's a tunnel entrance a block and a half from my house that's kind of hidden down by the riverfront. You have to really get down there to find it, but it's massive. I mean, it's a big opening. It looks like a subway entrance, a block and a half from my house. And I got down there and I got some pictures of it. Perhaps I can, after our adventure here today, I can bring our findings to you in the next live stream. But yeah, it looks like a subway tunnel entrance, a block and a half from my house. I mean, I'm sure they'll tell us that it's a water drainage tunnel, and that makes sense. It does. Water probably can drain out of there. Our neighborhood is elevated up from the river, and water does come gushing down when it rains heavy and drains towards the river. And there's been a couple of times where I'm sure there's been water pouring out of that, but I don't know how far in it goes. I was a little reluctant to go into there by myself when I was down there taking pictures that other time, but okay, yeah, cool. Thank you, Morgan. Just if you send me the name of the video, let me just scan real quick. Yeah, I can research that, and I'll get that on the show. Very good. Thank you, Morgan. His channel is Isabella Live 2.0. He plays a lot of good music and does theorizing, and he speaks from the heart on many sensitive subjects. And he, I feel like it's good for you to get all of those issues and those feelings out, Morgan. I applaud your effort. I know you're helping so many people. It's just good to pop in there and listen to you speak and listen to you play music. And it's the channel name is Isabella Live 2.0. Thank you, Morgan. So as this guy is making his way through this tunnel, I'm still curious as to, first of all, oh, he got it to work. Good. They're calling it a bunker, and it's at the top of the Swiss Alps mountains. And I'm like, okay, so it's a bunker. This World War II era bunker. But it's just countryside around them. I mean, who's going to be able to get inside this bunker in the event of an air raid siren? I mean, the towns are miles and miles away. I mean, who's going to be able to drive up to the top of the mountain to get inside the bunker? Unless people were living in there during the war, I don't know, but that's a lot of resources. Who's going to be able to get inside this bunker? I guess what I'm trying to say is that, okay, so there's we'll call it a bunker, but let's also keep on the table for discussion melted buildings and melted structures or damaged structures that once were. Okay, so we're coming down to the last segment of the show, of the presentation, and this is in the southern area of the United States, and this comes from a YouTube channel called Urban Exploring with Cappy, and this is a mansion. They don't list the exact location of this mansion in the South because it's just there's a unwritten rules in the urban exploring community that you don't take anything and you don't damage anything and you don't promote it so that other people will go there and damage it. So they keep these locations private. But this is in the South, the southern United States, and this is a 235, what they're calling a 235-year-old mansion. If you follow the mainstream narrative, this was built in the 1700s. And it was remodeled in the 1890s. It does look like it got a makeover. They said that it was built in the 1700s, but got a makeover in the 1890s, and that's why the brick on there, the cartouche says 1897 on it, for the 1700s, how many skilled laborers, how many skilled craftsmen were in the area 230 years ago? How big of a crew, how big of a skilled craftsman crew would you need to assemble this building? And it's out in the country. It's not near a city, or if it is, it's way in the outer suburbs. But so the first thing that comes to mind, if we're going to go with the mainstream narrative, how did you get so many craftsmen, or your crew, your craftsman crew, how did you get them assembled, and how long would it take for them to build this out in the boondocks? And how did you get all the building supplies there? So if we're talking 1700s, I don't think the train, because I have come across evidence that, in the 1800s, that they would reroute railway lines to deliver goods to certain projects, and then you could change the railway lines because it's not that hard to change the direction of, especially if they're temporary. You can have temporary railway lines that you can change the direction on them fairly easily. And I will show that in a future short film. I've got some good footage of that. So there's the building portion of it. And then we get into, you've used a lot of resources and money and time, and you move your family in there, and you would think that it would remain in the family. But I now that I think about it, maybe the family grows apart and somebody gets left with the house and it's, falling apart, and it needs maintenance, I should say. And you just come to this decision where it's like, nobody wants to stay behind to keep it or maintain it or live in it, and it falls into disarray, or it was in perfectly pristine condition, and some type of event, either cataclysmic or catastrophic, or however you want to look at it, there was an event, a life-changing event, that drove the inhabitants away, or they just gone. Anyway, they're no longer around. The original inhabitants are no longer around. And we see this with these urban explorers, the urbex community, that finds these places in every state. All the countries around the world have these amazing places that have fallen into disarray. And we get the feeling that they all started to fall into disarray around the same time, which lends itself to, was there a plane-wide catastrophic event or cataclysmic event, either by the hand of the Creator or by the hand of man? Like some people or some individuals have weaponry within their within their means. Oops, that was really loud. Sorry about that. The wind blew the door shut. Excellent, Morgan. I know how to play ball. Oh, yes, trolley car membership. Excellent. Hey, Morgan, you are the first member to the Bill Miller Flip channel. Thank you. I'm reaching some new firsts here because I did decide to promote the channel recently. In year 2 of making films and short and live streams and videos, in year 2, I started thinking of creative ways to help support the channel and help support the research and the short films and the live streams. And so I just was trying to be really creative in what I could, present to our community, acceptable ways for individuals to make contributions or donations or become a member. And I've recently started to promote that. Hopefully I'm not over promoting it, because I want to leave a lot of it, just maybe a little bit in the beginning and a little bit at the end of a live stream. But yeah, I'm just thinking it was, who would be the happiest if I started to get some financial support, and that would be my wife. I could tell you she would be the happiest person if I was to be able to start gaining some financial support for my short films and my research and live streams. She would be the happiest, and then I would be right behind her. I mean, I would be happy because this is my passion. I love doing this. I love researching, diving into topics, deep dive, literature, artwork, films, photographs, all of that. When something really sparks my interest, I dive deep into that. And then what I've been doing is making a short film on it, and but then in that process, I also come across some really, really amazing footage or photographs that didn't make it into the short film, but I want to share with people. So if I can find a way to do these live streams and share with people this excessive amount of research that I've come across, then that's what I want to do, because I want this is just too good. There's stuff that I have that didn't quite make it into the short film or fit that particular narrative, but it's really, really good. And I mean, there are only so many hours in the day, and there's only so many days in the week that I just don't think I could make that many short films. I mean, the research and the footage would just keep accumulating. But I have to share. I want to share this with everybody. So this way, I can share like 2 hours of straight content of different stuff, and I do take requests. I mean, people, if there's I've had people requested cities for Name This City. And that is one of the perks of the membership levels, is that you would be able to pick a city for a Name This City episode, or you could do, you could design it. I could send me photographs and I could design a t-shirt kind of things. And, but I have so many good video files on my computer that I've really got to start sharing this. And that's when the live streams really started to pick up. And I would do this as long as I have the passion for this and the desire and the love for this. I would do this for time to come. And my wife was like, have you ever thought about starting a merchandise store? I was like, no. I mean, yeah, I did, but I just would put it off. And so I finally was like, you know what, honey, you're right. It's time to start a merchandise store. And if you go over to billmillerflip.com, you'll find all sorts of old world shirts, airships, Volkswagen vans. I'm a former Volkswagen van owner. I had 2 of them. You'll find airships. You'll find name this city shirts with the city on the front and the name of the city on the back, that kind of thing. Just if you have a minute, check out billmillerflip.com. I'd love to hear your feedback. You don't even necessarily have to buy a shirt, but or a hoodie or a backpack or glasses. It's phone protector. I've been busy creating my website as a way to help support my research, short films, and live streams, and I've done quite a bit of really good work on this computer system, but I'm starting to get the sense that I've maxed out some of this computer. I mean, this computer is an old gaming computer from about 6 or 7 years ago. I mean, it still functions pretty good, but the processor can only do so much, and there's a few aspects that are a little bit outdated. But if I wanted to take my filmmaking and really expand live streams, I would consider a new computer or computer components. If anybody out there has any old computer editing computers or monitors, shoot me an email or send me a comment. I'm kind of a techie. I've been like that since I was a kid. I started out with the first piece of technology. My dad had a reel-to-reel tape player, and it would just the one reel would spin, and so I learned Jeremiah was a bullfrog. He taught me how to play reel-to-reel. Then we get into the tapes and record players, and at 15 years old, my friend and I, Jeff and I, we got authorized to have a radio show on a community radio station. So we were learning microphones and turntables and broadcasting equipment at 15, and from there car stereos, kind of a geek there at times, and then video equipment when the skateboarding era came around. Cameras was still kind of rare back in the 80s. Did some video recording. I wish there was more of it, but then I went to school. I went to college. I went for broadcast journalism, where got in the studio and did some different things in the studio, recording and let's see. After college, I would say I got a job with a video production company in Lincoln, Nebraska, and they specialized in weddings. And so I was the videographer for probably 50 weddings and did editing, edited them for the clients. From there, I was a TV cameraman for a local TV station in Lincoln, Nebraska. Field videographer. Sometimes I would have to take the camera home with me at night in case there was an event in the middle of the night and they needed a field reporter to go capture the footage. I even got authorized to take the mobile van of theirs down to large events and set up the boom mast and the broadcast system equipment and set up the cameras. So I do have a bit of a tech background, and I'm trying to. This is really kind of a lifetime of skills, and I'm applying that to this old world research and reset evidence and anything old world or mud flood or melted buildings or great city fires. Most major cities have a story where the city burned down. Getting back to my tech experience, then I've worked as a stagehand for over 100 major concerts where we get down to the arena early in the morning and the trucks start arriving from the concert in the city the night before and we unload the trucks, that kind of thing. If you want to follow me over on Patreon, the link is patreon.com/billmillerflip. And I'm happy to announce I'm up to 4 patrons now. You can check my progress over there. You can also check out some exclusive content on Patreon. Patreon member exclusive content. I'm adding more and more exclusive content over there every day. Or often, I should say. But I think that's a way of... And my patrons, I have 4. Carlin and Joe, they're my most recent. Dr. Detroit, Colm Henry, and Alex Woodhouse are my 4 patrons. Thank you. Much appreciated. Much love. And they have made a decision to become monthly membership. And all that goes towards the furthering of the research and the short films and the live streams and furthering and supporting the channel. And as I mentioned, I have my new website, billmillerflip.com, and these are some of the designs that you'll see over there. I have over 250 individually designed articles of clothing. No two are alike. We have socks, we have tank tops, we have shirts, long sleeve shirts, sweatshirts, hoodie sweatshirts, backpacks, hats. I have spent the last, I'm going to say 3 weeks really getting creative in the editing software through Teespring. That's who's doing, who's my t-shirt manufacturer is Teespring. But feel free to check out billmillerflip.com. And I'd love to hear your input, even if you don't buy anything. I'd just like to make sure I'm doing things right. And as I mentioned a little while ago, membership levels to my YouTube channel. YouTube has authorized my channel to have membership levels. The first level is $3 a month, and that is the trolley car rider level. And Isabella Live 2.0 became the first trolley car rider member. The second level is the ocean liner passenger level at $6 a month. Special perks apply to each level. And the top level is the airship captain level at $9 a month. Perks apply to the captain level, and we can get into those, but perks apply to the members. And those perks are flexible. I can take requests on what kind of perks you'd like. The $3 or $6 or $9 a month level, but again, it's a way to help further the research and the short films and the live streams. Year 2 of this is I'm going to find creative ways to help support the research. Another option is just to go straight to PayPal or Venmo or Buy Me a Coffee. Those links will be in the show notes. If you I'll make sure that those links are in the show notes, or if you'd like to just click on, if you'd like to go to my homepage on YouTube, you'll see these icons in the banner photograph. If you click on those icons, those will take you directly to the link for a donation or a contribution to the channel, to the research and the short films. Much appreciated to all. So the show's, this presentation, we're kind of winding down, but I want to thank everybody for being here. I'm getting used to the live stream thing. I've had 4 or 5 recently. I'd like to get into, maybe weekly. I'd like to get, a schedule. I'm not quite ready to commit to a weekly schedule, but I think it would help people if they knew, Pat's in the Belfry. Yeah. Okay, yeah. If people knew that I was going to be live on a specific day at a specific time, I think that would help bring more individuals to the channel and get more eyes on this research and make our community stronger and grow our family here. I really love this. I have a passion for it. The anxiety and fear of it being in front of a camera and on the microphone live, that's just something I'm going to have to deal with. It's nothing new. It's nothing that I can't handle. But I think maybe talking about it, overcoming irrational fears is important. That's why I watch some of that scary footage of people climbing to great heights, people jumping off things that are really high and base jumping. It helps me put things into perspective. They are jumping off things hundreds of feet tall, and I'm talking about talking into a microphone and a camera. I'm not in danger when I'm doing this, or at least I don't think I am, but my body reacts like I'm in a serious situation, like this fight or flight reaction happens. For a little while, it goes away. It's temporary, the anxiety or the excitement, as a chat member said earlier. It's the excitement that I think. So as the excitement kind of, my body gets used to it. Oh, Roger's here. I wonder if he wants to get up on the table. You want to get up here, buddy? Should we get up kitty cam? And we might have a kitty cam. But the irrational fear, as the... let's see if we can coax him over here. You want to come up here, buddy? Roger's my good buddy. He showed up here at our house about 12 years ago, and he's been here ever since. I think he likes us. So, the irrational fear, getting over that, I'm sure I can get over that. Talking about it is one way for me to help process that change in my voice, that creaky sounding. But Morgan's always in fight or flight, but he has the meds. That's a good one. Yes, isn't it, Hippie Shake? Yeah, this mansion down in the south is amazing. The urban explorers that I don't think Roger's gonna come over here. I'm gonna get kitty cam out of there. Oops. They don't give you the exact location because they want to keep it safe from vandalism. It looks like it did suffer some vandalism. It certainly looks like it's been through some event or events, but what that was, when that was, is only speculation. So here in a minute, I'm gonna leave you with some footage of Lower Manhattan from a water ferry in 1930 with some relaxing music, and I'm gonna fade out when this footage of the mansion, this abandoned mansion in the southern United States, closes out, and I'm gonna get ready to meet Skip. I'm sure Skip's on his way here. Skip and I have met through my research and my channel, and he's also in Milwaukee, and we're going to do some exploring around Milwaukee, and it'd be nice to meet people in the community and grow our community in person. I know other cities around the world have done that, across the face of the earth have done that, and the meetups. I know Hippie Shake has been to many of the meetups, and I know there's a lot of meetups here in the United States. Maybe we get one closer to Milwaukee or Chicago. Chicago is only an hour's drive south of Milwaukee, so I know there's a lot more people there in Chicago, and if anybody in the Chicago area would like to reach out, be glad to hear from you. But I think that this went pretty well. I think the audio levels were pretty good. Hopefully the music in the background didn't overshadow the music in the foreground. There we go. I'm going to fade out from here, but thank you all for joining today. It's been a great show. Hopefully I want to do this again soon, sometime next week. I'd love for you all to join. Thank you all for being here, and I will leave you with good day, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever the case may be in your corner of the realm. Enjoy your day. We'll catch you on the next one.